Today we're playing Rise of Nations and we're going in as Iran, not for the vibes but for lore. Sorry my audio got cut out in the video, so I'm just gonna be doing a voiceover, basically commentary. Just gonna have to listen to that the whole game. Let's get into it. Okay, so our goal this game is to claim as much land as possible, try to expand into Iraq, go into United Arab Emirates, get Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait, and then attack Israel. That is our goal this game, and I actually did not expect this outcome. This game has been wild. So at the start, first I get electronics. They play a big part. I immediately justify on everyone around me. Well, of course, the AI nations for the money, since it's good on money. I immediately make a destroyer right after I justify on the countries needed. Go ahead and buy the resources needed so that way I can keep up with my electronics factory. I can make a little bit of money, get my economy going, and get my stability up there with government spending and max military spending so that way I can become a military power. That's the whole goal, which is why I'm trying to get rich. I kind of find it crazy how a Roblox game is able to stimulate a full-on war, especially in the Middle East. It's crazy how far Roblox has come. Anyways, I go ahead and make troops. We're gonna go ahead and attack the AI countries, get ready for war. The whole game I was just getting early game I was getting my economy up, trying to stimulate a full-on war. In the process, I forgot to research. I mean, research is vital, but I suck at researching. Like, I don't get, no matter how many tutorials I watch, for research, I always struggle with it. Like, I always run out of points and everything, and I'm like, bro, I'm auto-researching this. It shouldn't be that hard. But, I mean, I don't use any advanced bureau research, tech policy, and I don't even do any leaders for research. So, I mean, I get why, and I don't even do any government spendings for it either, so research spending. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense why I'm always struggling with research. I'm struggling to make quick cash. Like, early game, I'm trying to make as much money as possible to take out these countries so that way I can get my factories up and going. I'm trying to easily get that bread up. It's not easy. I mean, obviously it is, but kind of suck at the game. This is a boring setup. I mean, I hate early game. The setups are so boring with all these tradings and factories. It's just like you gotta collect free real estate for that money, tax the hell out of your people, get your factories up, make your bread, make your army, go ahead and start attacking. I mean, it's a long process. I mean, this is where I speed up the video because the trades kind of were taking a while, so I went ahead and sped it up. I mean, I don't know, for trades, everybody declines mine. It's so hard to get a trade out there. And I mean, I guess people just beat me to it, and that's what it is. Go ahead and start attacking Kuwait now. I go ahead and start making a bigger force. Well, soon enough, I'm gonna start making a bigger force to finally take on Iraq. Finally, I go ahead and put my military and government spending all the way maxed up so I can get my stability and I can easily start taking over these countries. I go ahead and pick my leader. I picked a defensive leader because it would be better to defend my land with a leader who was defensive. I thought that was just the move. I'll go ahead, get my people up there, and we're gonna go straight into Iraq. I use the AI method where I just attack one city, the AI comes. It doesn't work for all nations, but I guess it works well for this nation at least. Alright, this is where I speed up the video once again because I felt like all these AI countries were taking way too long to take over. But I go ahead and expand my military. I made one in Turkmenistan up there because I kind of forgot that I had a 90,000 troops spawn there in the beginning of the game. Really looking forward to finishing these wars because, I mean, the wars were so lengthy, I got tired of it. My research, I go ahead and look at Egypt taking over Libya, and Libya is actually fighting back, which shocked me because I'm like, this Egyptian player had to be really bad or Libya was getting aided. But I was shocked and impressed, and I thought, wow, finally some good people out here, good players. I go ahead and raise an army for Iraq finally, and we charge straight for it after a long while of waiting, so I can have a closer base towards Israel. The whole game was just to expand and take over Israel, and I mean, I thought it was gonna be fairly simple, but We had a good fight. I go over here, take over Turkmenistan by baiting the AI once again. The same thing I did with Iraq. Actually eyeing Kazakhstan, but then I saw that I was being taken over by China, and I did not want to get caught in a Chinese war, so I was like, you know what, we're not going to do that. I just wanted the tungsten, but then again, I just had to trade for it, which wasn't a huge problem this game. I mean, most of the games, I always have a problem with tungsten, but not this game. And I think that's because I didn't use a lot of tungsten this game. I was, too focused on war. I go ahead and try to get Azerbaijan and Armenia because, I mean, I need the money, more money, then more factories or more wars I can able to keep up, especially with Israel. Alright, this is where I get close to finishing up my Iraqi war, and this is where I'm gonna get ready to start declaring on Israel. I make sure to finally go into Turkmenistan fully since I forgot about that once again, and I always forget about stuff, and that causes more delay in my games, but there's a lot going on and a lot of stuff I have to do since I'm trying to get this setup perfect. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a pretty decent setup. I could have made it better, could have done more prepping, but then again, it would have taken way too long, and I did not want to drag that out. I go ahead and do more trading, and I see Libya fully taken over Egypt, and then I see Israel's name is Benji Netanyahu, which I'm like, okay, this is way too similar to real life. Funny thing is, in this game, Ukraine was being aided by America, and it was Ukraine versus Russia, and in the end, Ukraine turned out to be the victor. But I was like, wow, this is too similar to real life, just like how Israel's being aided by America. This whole game, Israel's aided by America, and I was like, wow, it's too similar. I'm like, Jews being Jews, who would have guessed, right? I saw someone in chat say like, Israel always begging for American help, because Israel, in this game, Israel was begging for America to send more money, and I thought it was pretty funny, and America was like, no. That was late game though, but I thought it was pretty funny. I go ahead and look at United Arab Emirates. I'm just fine on them, as well as Georgia. Well, actually, I finished my justification. I went ahead and started the war. I completely forgot that Turkmenistan was almost done, but over here I am just working on my economy and finally get into Turkmenistan, finish that war, make sure I got everything correct. You know, to me, I find it very weird. I mean, I never answer the events. I mean, I don't really like events because I think that that the events with corruption and everything, I mean, as a small nation, I like it, but I don't think that it's good for bigger nations like Iran. I go ahead and justify on Israel because, well, the Benji Netanyahu I did not like. I mean, that was the whole reason why I justified. I was like, yeah, no, I don't like this guy. He does not seem like a cool guy. And he's definitely begging for American help. We gotta stop that. He's a threat to us, and he definitely was a threat. He did a lot of damage to us. But this is where we get ready. We start making more troops. I found it crazy that Turkey had control of Syria, just like how Iran has control of Iraq. Kind of similar, you know. It's like the events are too wild in this game. Like, this server was wilding. Like, I don't even know how it was so similar. You know, Russia, Ukraine with American help, and then American aiding Israel. It was like, to me, and then Turkey, Syria, like, it was all too real. I was like, am I playing this game or is this like real life? But, you know, it felt like real life. And then Saudi was being a sellout. So was Libya. Libya was being a sellout too. It made me so mad. I was like, how are you guys sellouts? Like, you guys are supposed to help your Middle Eastern countries. Like, be neutral. Don't be a sellout. Like, they weren't allowing me access to the canal. Saudi didn't allow me access to his land by forming an alliance. So I was like, yeah, you're an ultimate sellout, which Saudi is a sellout. So I finally about to get my justification done. I make sure to go into Georgia fully, so that way I can get more money. I'm just taking these countries, and I didn't realize at the time, but I could have gotten taken over by Russia or gotten a war with Russia because I was taking his land, you know, like Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, because that would have been really bad because he probably would have wanted to form, but it didn't matter anyways, he lost. We go ahead and finally get into Israel. I didn't care about the American help. I mean, America waging war in America, because I'm like, I don't think he's coming for me. He's way too far away. And if he did get here, I would have stopped it anyways through Navy or whatnot. I send my troops, but My troops started losing health in Turkey, so I was like, that's a problem. This is where I speed up the video once again because it was taking super long for the troops to get into Israel. So I go ahead and look at chat because Israel was saying real life events are happening to Ukraine. Like I said, the server was very funny. I go ahead and I made my fighter already, and I tried to get it into there, but I did not realize at the time that he also made fighters and attackers. So I lost the aerial airspace war, so I just had to try to get infantry domination, like land, but I don't think that really mattered. And I tried to send a white piece because I was like, you know what, never mind, it's not worth it. But I was like, who cares? I mean, the whole reason why I wanted to attack Israel was because this a couple days ago was the attack Israel did on Iran, and then Iran did retaliation strikes. So I was like, you know what, why not I recreate that? And that's exactly what I'm doing, but it didn't work out in my favor. As you can see, this guy gets ultimate funding from America. Not right now, but you'll see very shortly that this guy is getting funded again and again and again, and I'm over here like struggling with manpower. I mean, the only thing that I struggled in this whole game was manpower. I tried to intercept his attacker by sending my fighter. I should not have moved my troops off Baghdad. I should have brought my fighter to Baghdad, but then again, I didn't realize that at the time. But I retreat my fighter because he has anti-aircraft over there, which is why I lost my other fighter. So I retreat to Baghdad, and it makes me, I was thinking about making anti-aircraft, but I was like, I have a fighter, I don't need to. Finishing up the Arab Emirates war, and Israel is putting an offensive into my land. Yep, he's only been able to make an offensive this huge because of American help, which made me kind of a little bit upset. But I finished up the Georgia war, which would come in handy later on, as I would defend the land in Georgia, but it would be a way for me to get to Israel faster. I speed up the video once more because getting into Iran's land is very rough and it's mountainous, so of course it's going to take a while in game to actually advance. So I went ahead and sped up the video, and I started getting owned by him little by little, but he just took lands like Iraq and some of my lands, but he didn't advance much into my territory, just the territories that I captured, which I was content with because, I mean, like, I'm not going to lose anything. It's just war of attrition. That's really what it's about. His tanks were not stronger than my infantry at this time, so I was able to overwhelm his tanks and stop some of his advance. However, he was cornering me, so I was thinking about retreating into my capital, Tehran, or however you say it. But I didn't retreat just yet into my capital, and I seen that he was trying to get into Kuwait, so I sent my naval up there. And then this is where my big brain move comes in. I went ahead and used Georgia and went through Turkey's canal and to get to Israel, but Israel made more tanks and more infantry, so I couldn't do that. I finally started to retreat into my capital because he brought in his attackers, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything against that. I can just make anti-aircrafts in my capital, which is exactly what I did. Anyways, I'm trying to travel down to Israel, but for some reason my troop is being dumb and went on Greece's land. I just lost 10,000 troops doing that, but that's alright. I go ahead and look back at Israel because I'm seeing if I could advance my troops there, but I cannot. So I just kind of have them stay in the water thinking that I'm sneaky, that Israel won't see me. However, I think he saw me, he just didn't do anything about it, and he just let my troops stay there. But I moved my destroyer up there to Kuwait so that he couldn't get his attackers there, and he could move his tanks, because I wanted my troops to live, but obviously my troops died, but I also killed his troops or damaged it really badly, which would make him do reinforcements, but I made sure that he couldn't capture Kuwait. I go ahead and try to get down into Israel by forming an alliance with Libya, which you will see soon enough. I train my capital troops, make sure they get trained so they can't be easily beaten. This is where I send a non-aggression pact to Libya, so that way I think that I can travel in their land even if I have a non-aggression pact. I look up into Ukraine, Russia because it's just similar events. It was crazy to me how it was going on. I was like, what is wrong in this server? Like, Ukraine is actually pushing back with American aid, but these guys were getting infinite aid from America, Israel, and Ukraine. I land my troops inside of Libya so that way I can try to push into Israel. And I actually thought that I had a chance here against Israel. Because, I mean, you should just see for yourself. I managed to get close to his mainland, which was, to me, I was like, all right, I'm actually doing something, and I could push back. Then again, I mean, he was unprepared. He did not realize it, and he entrenched his troops, which I don't know why, which is the reason how I was able to destroy it. So as soon as I got it, I scorched it. And I'm not that person to scorch land, but I was like, free land. Yeah, I'm gonna mess him up since he took a lot of my land, but his troops are incredibly weak. That's how I was able to destroy it when he entrenched it. But entrenched, his troops were strong, and I guess that he probably had deep battle theory or something like that that would help against entrenching. And he probably had Fortifications Act and Neutrality Act, so that way it would be harder for resistance and everything. And I should have used that at the time, but I didn't really care about any of those. He was also fighting back against Ukraine. He was actually reclaiming land, but I had serious doubts that Russia could actually stand and win any wars because against Ukraine, because I'm like, it's infinite aid from Ukraine. I really doubt it. If Ukraine would to win, it would be because of attrition. It would be because he's getting infinite money. He could do any factories he want. He could sell to his allies and they would accept it just for him. So, and they would probably decline Russia's. So it was infinite aid. It was infinite resources. It was anything. I moved my troops all the way down from Turkmenistan because I was getting really desperate. I was running out of manpower. I was good on money, but it was just manpower I was running out of. I didn't even know how my economy was still up. I was making like $1 million in surplus, and I was like, what am I doing to make this? I think it was almost 2 million, but I thought of a genius idea here, which is why I call Libya a sellout, because I started to move my navy down all the way into Egypt, because I wanted to reach into Israel with my navy, because I'm like, this Israel guy is a retard. He did not make any artillery, so I could easily take that out. I made tanks up in Georgia, which is why Israel didn't advance, and I went ahead and specialized them and trained them. And America gave me $1 here because I asked America to give me money, and because he's a troll, he gave me $1, which I found pretty funny. And I was like, you know what, you do you. He started bringing in anti-aircraft because he thought I had aircraft, but I don't even think I had any aircraft. And he started bringing in artillery with him, which is what really scared me. And I tried to create troops here so I can get that artillery. And I think it worked out in my favor pretty well. But I'm just moving up here with my one destroyer. And it made me pretty mad. I was like, how do you become a cell? Like, that's mad. Like, is the Americans aiding you too? I just got upset. But I think, it would make sense if you see someone losing, you would block them and you wouldn't let them win. But to me, it was just like, what are you doing? To be honest, I was just trying to focus on the war more and get my manpower, but I stopped caring about that, like, late game when I was playing strategy-wise, because I was like, this guy's getting infinite aid. I can't do anything against that. The thing I could do was attrition, because my mountainous terrain, and he's smaller than me, and his factories are starting to go out. I didn't realize at the time, but America was starting to cut his aid a little and little, which is revealed later on, but it was just a war of attrition. I just really had to hold out, and my plan changed from, all right, try to get more land, and to try to go ahead and make his troops die faster, because he's going to run out of resources, and I didn't have any faith that he could keep this war up forever. High war exhaustion, especially me. The only reason why I was able to keep up this war was because I had Neutrality Act on, which saved my life. If it was not for that, I would have lost. Like, actually, I would have broken apart, and it would not have been looking pretty. Even if I broke apart, I still could have kept up with the war, but it just, for me, I would have been unstable. And I think this is what made that guy mad, because I wasn't breaking apart. So he just saw that, this guy, I could go on forever and he wasn't doing damage to me. But really, he was doing damage, he just couldn't see it. Okay, his artillery is moving in here on my capital, which is extremely bad because he's trying to damage my troops. So I go ahead and take out my attacker. However, I accidentally got hit by his anti-aircraft, and his fighter came in anyways, so I had no chance against that. So I went around the mountains, and I used my troops to try to get down to his artillery. I didn't care about his anti-aircraft. I wanted his artillery so that he could not do damage to me. And I ended up getting attacked by his troops, but to me it didn't matter. I did a big brain move here. I transferred my money over to Iberian Union, and I accepted the American deal. I should not have done that. I realized he gave it to me because of high war exhaustion, but to me, he did that because I was like, you know what? It gets him out the war and he could not attack me, because I was fearful that he would send an army over here. So I'm like, if I get him out, he can't send an army, he can't attack me. But as we can see that the Israeli tanks are taking a lot of damage in my land, the ones that he captured. He tries to go ahead and rush me, but of course I'm entrenched, so it doesn't work out. I'm over here looking at more laws, what I can do. And I keep training my tanks so that way I could finally make a comeback invasion, which will happen soon. And this is what I meant. It's a war of attrition. His tanks started dying in my own land, and his artillery started dying. That was because he was out of oil and stuff like that, and he couldn't keep up with it anymore. This is where the Americans cut off the aid at this point right now. And to me, I was happy about that, because he couldn't supply himself anymore. So it was harder for him to keep up the war, and I could actually reclaim my land. But my issue was manpower. I didn't have any, so I couldn't do anything about that. I mean, if I had somebody else to send me manpower or whatnot, it would have worked out great. But again, it was me against Israel and America. This is where he started scorching my land, which I find very toxic. He scorched everything, because I don't know why, but he just did it. And I think it's because he wanted me to reclaim it, and he knew I was going to reclaim it. So he just scorched everything. And I was traveling tanks up by Georgia to come down to Tehran, but this guy's toxic. He's a troll. That's what he is. I was kind of a troll when I sent all my money to Iberian Union so that America couldn't get anything, but it was 100% worth it. It was worth the money, everything in it. Oh, this is where I was like, holy, this guy's getting infinite aid from America. He retreated all of his troops and his things everywhere. He was telling me to go ahead and attack him, but it was hard for me to get to his land because it was attrition. And this is where America said he cut his aid. So I was like, deal with it, I can do this forever. And I got really happy here. And I started celebrating. Okay. I was like, let's go. No more Jews. No more aid. Freaking Jews taking all the money. But here I pulled a big brain move. I was like, all right, I got to ally with Turkey, because if I do that, I'm able to get into Turkish lands. And I could use Turkish lands to attack Israel. So I say, Turkey, I only need to use your lands. I don't want to add you into the war, and I send the alliance over, and I hope he accepted it, and he does, and it just makes me happy because I'm able to do one step closer. I didn't think that Israel would violate the rules and kind of like, well, it's not rules, but I put my troops in Turkey, and Israel does the unthinkable. I was like, I was shocked, but I got more money from America, which made me happy. Asked for someone to send me $30 million so I can make a transport aircraft, and that's where the American aid came in. He sent me $30 million, and that's where I was thinking, all right, if I make a transport aircraft, I can put that in Turkey, and then with that transport aircraft, I can go ahead and take over Israel or attack him. So I say, thanks, America, but he's kind of like a two-face. He says, keep quiet, I never aided you. So he tries to play like a two-face role, and I'm like, all right, I guess. He loves proxy wars. He tries to do a lot of proxy wars. So anyways, with his aid, I go ahead and make more troops. I use these guys in Georgia. I tried to travel them into Turkish lands because I want to get as close as to Israel as possible. Because I know that he's only strong through entrenching in his lands, and he's not going to come to my land anymore. And it's useless to travel to my land because it's all burnt. Anyways, I'm just looking in chat, showing you guys what happened. And, you know, Israel's trying to be like, Iran, do something. I'm like, there's really nothing for me to do when you burned my land, so I can't get direct access to you. And I don't have money. I'm not making anything. And I'm not making any manpower. It was a struggle for me. But I then again tried to allied freaking Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia being the sellout it doesn't do anything.
Go over
here.
It doesn't
accept. It was probably an alt. I was thinking it was an alt because I'm like, there's no way he doesn't do anything the whole game. He just stands there. Like, how do you find that fun? Anyways, I'm trying to get my army down to Israel. See, I also get my transport aircraft, but I didn't realize. I thought that was one of my attackers, but I forgot it was my transport aircraft, so he eliminated it. And it made me more upset. I'm like, man, I should have seen that coming, but I did not. And I feel like the reason why I didn't see that coming was because I have a brain cell of a cheeseburger. Like, that's my IQ right now. Brain cell, like, my IQ is a cheeseburger right now. That's it.
He deleted it,
I kind of feel like this Israeli player's brain cell is a cheeseburger, not mine. Because, I mean, this guy was pretty dumb. He could have used artillery, but he never did. See, this is what I'm talking about. I put my land in I put my troops in Turkish land, and then I started traveling into Saudi land so I can get to Israel faster. Look at what Israel does. He moves his troops into Turkish lands to take mine out. I was shocked about it. And then I told America I need a little more aid. Like, just a little bit more manpower. This guy sends me 600,000 manpower. You see that? Israel moves everything he has. I mean, pretty dumb move. I could have had something. Anyways, I make more troops.
That's big.
You know, I could have surprise attacked Israel, but of course he didn't see it coming. Well, I mean, I didn't see it coming. I didn't think he was gonna move everything off. I was like, who does that? That's insane. Kind of wish I had. And then I seen his factories going out, so I'm like, yeah, he can't keep it up forever. So through Saudi land, I started going, but I was losing too much through Saudi land, and I was like, I'm only losing it because I don't have him as an alliance. So going through his lands, we're gonna die. To me, that was a huge problem, but I kept pushing through, and I felt like this war was getting nowhere because I couldn't reclaim. I kept losing all my troops, and he just kept playing defensive. He was playing offensive, but he was only playing offensive because of America was giving him aid. Once that stopped, play defensive. So I tried to do one last strategy, make more fighters, but I want to see if that could work or not. I sent my tanks, even though they're badly damaged, I sent my tanks, and they got wiped because of his entrenchment. So, and I was in deficit, wasn't making anything. So I was seriously thinking of doing a white piece here. And I think I knew he would accept that because he can't keep it up forever. He can't keep the war up. But he did a good job. I'm not even mad at him. He gave an amazing fight. And that just, you know, to me, it was pretty much like real life. Everything was exactly like it. So I just had to say that it was a good game for him, good game for me. You know, no one got mad. Both parties were happy. He probably didn't have as much fun, but it's just the game and how it went. I sent out my attackers and fighters of what I could, so I could intercept his attacker. But I did not realize he had anti-aircraft. That's what my mistake was. As you can see, I'm just let you watch that. And then it bugged out, which made me even more mad. But yeah, right here, he had anti-aircraft, which once I go back, you'll see it. Boom, right there. Anti-aircraft hit, and I'm not able to do anything. So I was like, yeah, this war is pretty pointless. Let's do a white piece. But once again, I try one last attack. I go for one last offensive. This is before I give up ultimately, but one last offensive into his land. I don't even care about my land. This is where my planes bug out, and I'm kind of hoping, like, please don't bug out. I need this. Send all my attackers going straight into his land. I tried to avoid his anti-aircraft, but I think I failed in doing that. So yeah, you can just watch that. They just get wiped out immediately. So yeah, I just offer him a white piece because I'm like, what am I even supposed to do against that? Like, I can't do anything, he can't do anything, and it's not getting anywhere. So we can just do a white piece, because if not, I'll just recapture what I lost. Ultimately, what I just started doing right now. And he started doing like, oh, now you want a white piece? So I had to like play psychological warfare. I was like, it's a war of attrition. I don't care. I could keep going forever, and that's what I said. I don't think he can keep going. I knew he can't keep going, but he accepted, and I mean, it was a good game. Honestly, can't complain. Had to say congrats to him. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and more content will be coming out, and I promise it's going to be way better than this one. Have a good day.